Hello, this is Neon. Last time, we revisited the early 1980s and the artists of the Second British Invasion, who captivated the world with their striking visuals and synthesizer soundscapes. But hasn't it ever made you wonder? While British synth-pop bands were flooding MTV screens, what kind of music was brewing across the Atlantic in America? Today, we dive into the story of American New Wave, a movement with a distinct flavor from British synth-pop, fusing the raw energy of classic rock with electronic sounds, pop melodies, and a uniquely artistic vision. If British New Wave bloomed from the flamboyant fashion and makeup of London's Blitz Club, American New Wave was born from the raw, unrefined energy of a grimy underground club in Manhattan, CBGB. On that tiny, dark stage, the Ramones erupted with three-chord punk rock, Patti Smith recited poetry over razor-sharp guitars, and television laid the groundwork for post-punk with intricate guitar riffs. And from this gritty soil, breakthrough stars began to captivate the mainstream. There was Debbie Harry's Blondie, seamlessly blurring the lines between disco, hip-hop, and punk, and Rick Ocasek's The Cars, who set the standard for American pop rock by pairing crisp, hard rock guitar riffs with sleek synthesizers. From its inception, American New Wave possessed a distinct identity, a seamless fusion of raw rock grit and pop accessibility. At the artistic peak of American New Wave stood two monumental pillars with entirely different flavors. The first pillar was Talking Heads, an intellectual art school band formed out of the Rhode Island School of Design. Led by David Byrne, they teamed up with legendary British producer Brian Eno, boldly grafting African polyrhythms onto electronic music. In their concert film Stop Making Sense, recently re-released in 4K to renewed acclaim, David Byrne, performing in an oversized suit, turned the stage into high art, marking perhaps the most intellectually sophisticated moment in New Wave history. Interestingly, Talking Heads' rhythm section, bassist Tina Weymouth and drummer Chris France, formed a side project called Tom Tom Club. The infectious groove of their hit track, Genius of Love, was later sampled in Mariah Carey's 90s mega-hit Fantasy, proving just how far the DNA of New Wave could reach.
What do you consider fun? Fun, natural fun. Sit back when I close my eyes.
Enjoyed part 1? Make sure to like and subscribe for more neon nostalgia. On the other end of the spectrum stood the ultimate embodiment of kitsch pop art, the B-52s. With 50s retro fashion, towering beehive hair, and B-movie aesthetics, they captivated the era with joyful party rock. Legend has it that John Lennon, living in reclusion in the late 70s, heard the wild vocals in their debut single Rock Lobster, and was reminded of Yoko Ono's avant-garde music, inspiring him to return to the studio and record Double Fantasy. Though polar opposites in style, both bands broke the traditional rock mold to carve out two of the most original pillars in modern American music. In the early 1980s, driven by the explosive growth of MTV, American New Wave woven itself directly into everyday life. The Geils band, originally a 70s blues rock outfit, embraced sleek synth production with Centerfold, spending 6 consecutive weeks at #1 on the Billboard chart. Meanwhile, the all-female quintet, the Go-Go's, became the voice of youth culture with their bright, catchy pop melodies.
Can you see them? See right through them. I'm gonna harden my heart. I'm gonna swallow my tears. I'll make you wonder, you don't understand. You take me by the heart when you take me by the hand.
Come back, won't you come and
I live among the creatures of the night.
Others brought playful wit, reflecting the spirit of the times. Tommy Tutone sparked a nationwide wave of prank calls with the telephone number in 867-5309/Jenny, becoming a pop culture phenomenon. Buckner and Garcia directly recorded sound effects from arcade cabinets to create the novelty new wave hit, Pac-Man Fever. And then there were bands like Huey Lewis and the News, whose clean-cut denim style and radio-friendly sound achieved massive commercial success, becoming the ultimate symbol of mid-'80s American optimism.
Don't need no credit card to ride this train. Do you believe in love? Since you're gone, thrown it all. Since you're gone.
Then you turn a cold shoulder far enough.
Looking back on those days, listening to these tracks on the radio or street corner cassette shops, many of us fell into a funny misconception. Stray Cats, the Romantics, Missing Persons, even Talking Heads. Why did so many of us assume these American bands were British? Stray Cats, overlooked at home, famously packed up for London to build a massive following in the UK punk/new wave scene, before returning to the US as international stars. Meanwhile, the cool, moody, and intellectual sound of Missing Persons and Talking Heads closely mirrored the UK's post-punk ethos.
I hear the secrets that you keep. Come on, baby, let's get out of here right away. I'm on a Mexican radio. Magic and technology, voodoo dolls and chins.
If British synth-pop brought a cool, elegant mystery, American new wave offered a different kind of magic, a blend of raw, rock spirit, wit, and urban nostalgia. From the late-night melancholy of a saxophone line in a Motels track to the festive energy of the B-52s, they were all essential players who shaped the glowing landscape of the 1980s. Among the American new wave artists we revisited today, which song used to keep your radio tuner locked in place back in the day? Tonight, why not pull out one of those classic American records and take a trip back in time? This has been Neon. Thank you for watching.